Hi. Today we're going to look at our last project in PowerPoint. It's going to be project 3B. It's the pottery place. And I'll tell you right now, this one has been tough even for me. I've had to really take take notice of what I'm doing and make sure I've done everything correctly. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And here it is. Okay. All right, so this is what your screen should look like, the pottery place. So, of course, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go in and change it to your slide to number 2. Erase the one and make it a 2. By now, that should be commonplace with you. All right, so project 1 step says we're going to insert a picture on slide 1. So I've got slide 1, and I'm going to insert, and it's a picture. Now, this is the picture that is one of your support files that you downloaded. So it's going to be on this device. Come on. Open up. My computer's moving slow today for some reason. Okay, so let me go find my downloads. Home. Downloads, okay? And it is support PPT 365 3B. That means it's in Office 365. I tell it to insert. There's my picture. So now you notice that this picture, and let me get rid of this over here. Designer again is going to come up just about every time you change because it wants to help you design it, but you do not want to use that. In doing personal ones, you can. All right, so you notice that the picture took up almost the entire slide. So what we're going to do is for B, we're going to crop it. Now, depending on how it tells you to crop, this one tells us to crop the left side of the picture to 2. So I'm going to come in here to my sizing handles. Those are those round things, remember, and I'm going to move that over all the way to 2. Okay. Then it says to do the right side to 3. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm moving this over to 3. And it's going to be a little bit more than that orange line. Then C tells us to resize the picture to the height of 7.5. So I can type it in or I can just use my up arrow, just whichever one you want to. D tells us to apply the sharpen, the 25% correction. So over on my picture format toolbar, here's my correction, and 25 is the next to the last one. And you barely can see it, but it just kind of gives it a little bit sharper picture. E tells us to position the picture so its right edge is even with the right edge of the slide. So I'm going to bring it over here, and notice there I've got it in the top and the bottom. You see on the right hand side where it looks like a cross on both sides? That means I have got it exactly where it needs to be. Remember, in PowerPoint, when we're sizing it using the grids, always look for the crosshair, and you want to put it in that crosshair. All right, so we finished number 1. Then we're going to number 2, and it says that for number 2, we're just going to apply the saturation to the picture. So I'm going to click on my picture, and I'm coming over here to color. Color is saturation is part of the color. It's not under correcting anything. And I'm looking for 200%. There's 3. 200 is the third from the right. So I click on that. And again, all it's done is give it a little bit of sharpness. All right. I'm for step number 3, I'm still on slide number 2, and I'm going to convert the text to word art. So A tells me to select the 3 lines of text, relaxing, beautiful, and useful, not the title, just the text. So I'm going to select, and to select, you just highlight them. And then I'm coming up here to shape format. And then I'm looking for word art styles right here. And what I'm looking for is the fill is red, accent color one, shadow. And that's not it. I think it's this one right there. Nope, that's fill. Nope, that's 50 shadow. Maybe it's this one. Uh, word art 50 red accent. Let me try this again. Right there. Duh. First ones. First row, column one. And so it changes it to that, which makes it a little easier to read. The B part, and make sure you still have it selected by note seeing you those handles all around it. You know it's selected. I want to add a glow. And your glow is going to be under text effects. Anytime you're making anything do different, then always go to text effects. So there's my glow, and I'm looking for 8 point light orange. So I know it's going to be right there it is, but this says accent color 5. So I'm going to go over one because that's I think it's 4, 8, 12, 16. So it's glow 8 point light orange accent 5. I always double check mine so I don't have to go back and do those again. All right, so now we're through with slide 2, and we're going to go to slide 3. On slide 3, it tells us to use the content placeholder. That's your content placeholder. And we're going to add now, if it had just said add a chart, we could have went into insert chart, but it says use the placeholder, so you have to use that placeholder or Sam will count it wrong. So I click right there's my insert chart, and it wants us to do a 3D clustered bar. So there's my bar, and then I look until I find there's my 3D clustered. And so now I've got a 3D cluster, and give it a minute for it to populate. Anytime you're adding a chart in a PowerPoint, then it brings up an Excel worksheet because that's how you do a chart is you do it in Excel. So the first step it tells us is to delete the series 2 and 3. So I'm just going to click and I'm going to hold it and drag it over. If I click at the top and I have that down arrow, it selects that entire row. And so then I go to format. Do I want to go to format? And wait a minute. Let me go back to chart. Okay, and where am I going to go? Maybe it's edit. Well, I think maybe I can just right mouse click. Yeah, right mouse click and hit delete. And now it's got those two columns done. All right, so where series 1 is, then I'm going to type classes. Whoops, wrong one. I'm in the wrong one. Click in series 1, classes. And I like the standalone version of Office because it gives me a toolbar up here where I can look to see what I'm typing in. In the Office 365, it does not do that. I don't like that, but too bad. I have to do what they tell me to. All right. So here are going to be my categories. Introduction to pottery class. Now, notice that it goes all the way over to C. Don't worry about it. Hit your tab key, and then it's going to take you to the column B, and it's going to be 3. Hit your tab key. It takes you back to category 2, and this is going to be beginner, wheel, class. Again, hit my tab key. It takes me over to my classes. There's going to be 4 of those. Tab. You can um, you can just hit enter and it'll take you down. I like to hit tab because I don't remember if I told y'all this when we were doing Excel, but anytime you hit your tab key in Excel, it saves your work. So I don't want to lose all my work, so I'm always hitting tab when I'm in Excel. And then category 4 is glazing workshop, and it's 2. And then I just click out, then I close that, and there is my chart. All right, step 5 says with slide 3 still showing, modify the title. So you have to click in the title and highlight the words because we're going to replace them with number of weekly sessions. Now, make sure you put that S because when I was doing this to upload it, I didn't have the S and I kept looking at it because it counted it wrong. And I thought, what's wrong? I've got everything spelled right. And then it dawned on me, I forgot to put an S. So make sure you do that. Click out. Do not hit your enter key because if you do, what that's going to do is move those words up and you do not want it. You want it in that text box. While the chart is still selected, I'm coming up here to chart design, and these are the different types of styles. Click down, and it wants us to do style 11. There's 10 right there, style 11. And all it does is just change the out the way that the chart looks. It doesn't do anything to the chart. Maybe it might do a little bit of shadowing or something like that. All right, just click out. Now, this is where it got tricky for me because this was something I don't do a lot of. I need to do it because I make a lot of PowerPoints. And I'm thinking, duh, if I would use this, I wouldn't have to keep creating all these slides. All I'd have to do is just do it. So with slide 3 displaying, it wants us to reuse slides. And what that means is I'm going to take slides from another presentation and I'm going to reuse them in this one. So to do that, I come up here to new slide and I come down here to reuse. Then I have to go and I have to find, I'm looking for the PowerPoint 3B session 3B. So I click on that. And there are my slides. It has 4. And let me move this out of the way so that you can see. Okay. The first thing it says is use source formatting. So come down here and click on use source formatting. So that means that it's not going to use these slides in the way that they're used here. It's going to match it over here. It wants us to select slide 2 and 3. So click on 2 and then click on 3. And it did not do that. So let me all right, let me undo this. Let me redo it because it may not want us to do the source. I didn't do source formatting when I did it. So there you go. All right. Sometimes it'll say keep source formatting is this one and not use for source formatting. In the standalone version, you have the option on the toolbar. 365, you don't. All right. So then let's go to slide 4. If you have any questions about this, let me know. All right. So I'm going to close that pane. I don't need it anymore. All right, on slide 4, use the align and format the picture for better. Oops, wait a minute. I think, okay, right here. On monthly memberships is going to be down at the bottom. Let me pull it down here. Okay, I don't know why it's up there. I think I moved it when I was setting it up. All right, slide 4. Use the align commands. So I'm going to select all 3 of these. Hold down your control key. We can select them all at one time using the control while I click on them. I'm coming up here to my picture format. Come over here to your align, and it wants us to right align. So right there it is. Notice it puts them all in a nice line. All right, keep them selected because now we're going to add a picture style. Here are my picture styles. You see those? Click down, and I am looking for soft edge rectangle. So, right there. I was kind of thinking it was on the first one. And how I kind of knew that was I could see that the edges were a little rounded, but they were softer. So, click on that. And now you see, you don't really see a sharp edge. It's just kind of the picture with a little bit of an edge to it. On slide 5, it says insert a text box. So I go to insert, come over here to text box. When you do that, then you're going to get this, looks like an upside down cross. Hold down your left mouse button. It's going to change into a crosshair, and just draw one. Doesn't matter how big you draw it, because we're going to format it. So the first thing is it wants us to do clay intensive. Is make sure you put your S, I did the same thing, I missed it, and your exclamation point. All right. B tells us to change the font size to 36. Select it, including the exclamation point. Come up here to your font and make it 36. And notice, don't worry about it. Don't panic and say, oh no, oh no. We're going to size it now. We're on C, it tells us to change the text box to 0.9. So I got to go up here to my shape format, come down to 0.09, and 4 is the width. Now, see how it increased it. So don't worry about your text box. Just draw one and then go with the formatting. E tells us, oh, wait a minute, D, center the text horizontally within the text box. So, I found this the other day. Where did I find it? Align, and it's align center. Okay. Now, nope, that's not wrong. That's wrong. Let me undo that. I can tell by looking at it, it's not right. All right, it's align middle. Nope, not that one either. All right, I think I'm just going to go home. I did it this way and it worked. It didn't count it wrong. So just go home and align it. Center. All right. E says apply the intense effect. Orange accent 6. Go back to your shape format and go to this one. Intense effects. Moderate. I think it's going to be this one. You just have to there's a tense effect accent 6, so it should be this one. Intense effect, orange, accent 6. Okay? All right. So again, this one's hard because these are things you don't use every day, and you have to kind of just, my mother used to say, piddle with it until you get it right when she was trying to teach me to knit, which I never did learn to do. All right. Then F. This is where you want to say ugly words because it's finesse and you have to work with it. Use the smart guides to align. Anytime it tells you to use smart guides, that is those little dotted lines. That's what they're talking about. So I'm going to hold down my mouse button. See, I've got I'm holding down my left mouse button. And what I'm doing is I'm coming over here and I kind of know that I'm going to put the C under wheel. So that kind of looks like that's where I want it, but I've got to be able to get it where I've got right there. You see that? I've got it right in the middle. Yeah, I think maybe I want to go, nope, right there. And I drop it. Okay. If you have a lot of trouble with this, let me know and I'll look at it. And if you're close, I will give you credit because to me, that's something that's hard to do. You just got to have a real steady hand. So you baseball players or football receivers, y'all shouldn't have a problem with it. All right. Now let's go to slide 6, monthly membership. So let me move this up here to monthly memberships and make it my 6. All right. Um, on slide 6, monthly memberships, format the word art to stress the slide's message. This is word art right here, not the monthly membership. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to select my word art. Coming up here to shape format, here's my word art. Everybody see that? Click your down arrow, and I am looking for black, text color 1, outline white, background color 1, hard shadow, light orange, accent color 5. So you can just kind of go down. Okay, there's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Not that, not that, not that. But there it is. Fill, color, back, blah, blah, blah. So if you look at all that, it's going to be that one. So click on it. And you'll notice now it's black and it's got an orange accent to it. Apply the warp up transform effect. Your key word in the sentence is text effects. Right here. And we're going to be transform. And the warp up, it tells you it's the 4th column, 1st row. So 4th and triangle down. I'm thinking it's this one. Warp up right there. And every one of them are going to be a little different depending on what type of a computer you have. Okay. And then it tells us while it's still highlighted, go back to text effects, and we're looking for perspective below. Where is perspective below? Right there. It's under 3D rotation effects, and here's perspective, and I believe this is below. All right. So did you see how what that did was how it was kind of crumbled all together? And when I did the perspective below, it put it below it. Then it says, number 9, D says, resize the text box to 2 inches. So 2 inches in height. So I'm just going to click on my up arrow until, whoops, I went too far. There's my 2 inches. And you see how that really pops. Okay. All right. Number 10 says on class schedule, it says insert a column to the right. So what you do is you select your table, put your cursor in that last column, go up to table layout, insert column to the right. Everybody see where I'm seeing that? Now I have a new column over there. And then this is what I'm going to type. Friday, and then I'm going to hit my down arrow. And it's going to take it to the, I didn't hit tab, because had I hit tab, it would have taken me all the way back over here to Monday, and I didn't want to waste my time. I just went tab. Beginner, wheel, 11 a.m. Hit your tab, your down arrow, hand, building, down, or hit your enter key, and 7 p.m. Okay, so we've just added another day. Evidently, they're doing really good and they needed to add some more classes. With 11 says, with slide 7, still displaying, format the table as follows. Using the right middle sizing handle right here. Okay, see where it says increase the width of the table to the 5. So what I'm doing is you see my ruler up there? I'm just making that go, and you see my little red line right up there? Click it. And so now I have that aligned and the beginner wheel is on the same line. They didn't want it to text wrap. Apply the angle bevel. We're gonna do some design. So come up here to in the bevel gallery. Cell, go to effects, cell bevel, and I'm looking for angle. And first column, second row. So no, soft round. Right there. All right. And again, it just kind of softens the edges. And then it tells us to use the align commands. So this is different. Go to table layout, come over here to align, and I'm looking for center, align center. Everybody see that? And see how it's kind of aligned it, centered it on the slide itself. All right, on slide 8, it says use the content placeholder. Again, remember this, and we're going to insert a table. And to begin with, we want 2 columns, 1 row. So I changed that to 2 and that to 1. And I found it to be interesting because they didn't tell you that. And if you just did it default, it would have been 5 and 2. But when I was looking at the what it's supposed to look at, like I said, uh-oh, they didn't put that in there. So if you're watching this, just remember that. All right, so I tell it, okay, there's my table. All right, so I'm gonna just click in the first cell, and I'm gonna not Saturdays. Make sure you put the colon, beginner, wheel, hit your tab key to take you to the next cell, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, they want us to number 13 to insert a new row. Now, you can just put your cursor there, table layout, insert row below. If I wasn't doing it in SAM, I would hit my enter key and it would put a new row in it. But if you don't use the command, they're going to count it wrong. And this one's going to be Sundays, colon, hand building, and then 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. They want us, D tells us to change the table style to medium style. So I go back to my table design, click, and here's my mediums. And so I'm looking for medium style 1. So it's probably going to be on the first row. Accent 5. So I'm assuming it's that one. Medium style 1, accent 5. And how I just picked up on that one is because everything else in my presentation is this color. So just naturally, I'm assuming that it's going to be that color. Okay. Bold the text, hand building, and beginner. So select beginner wheel, control, select hand building, go home, and bold it. All right. Now let me make sure that I've got everything. I was thinking I moved that one, but evidently I did not. All right. Then in the last number 14, move slide 6. And that was the one I had at the bottom that I had forgot to move back before I redid this one. All right. And then we're through with our project and we're ready to upload it. But the one thing that I've always cautioned my students to do is to go into review, go into spelling, and it tells me, okay, I always do that. Nothing is more aggravating to me is to be watching a presentation and there be a misspelled word in it. So, like I said, you got to make sure that you've done that right. So that is the last one. And again, it's got some pretty cool things that you're going to be learning to do, but it's also got some that can cause you to, having to align using the align keys and things like that. Follow the directions closely. Make sure you've saved it as PPT 365 underscore 3B, your name underscore number 2, so that you can get it uploaded. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck, because now you are ready to take your capstone. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'm ready to